Dear friends, welcome back to Automate with Rakesh. In this video, we are going to learn about mock testing. First of all, let us understand the word mock. For example, if I tell you mock a person, that means you are trying to act like a person. That is called mocking. Now, what is mocking in testing? What does it exactly mean, mock testing? So mock testing is a software testing technique. So this term is coming from software testing, mock. But the real meaning of mock is you're trying to mimic someone, right? You're trying to mimic someone. That is called mock. Now what is in testing? Let's understand. We will understand with respect to UiPath. What is mocking in UiPath? Mock testing is like creating or a pretend version of a real workflow. You are creating, imagine you have created a workflow in UiPath. Now, mock testing means during the testing of the workflow, you are creating a pretend version which would exactly act like the workflow. Now, what exactly that mean? Right? What exactly that mean? How you create a pretend version of a workflow? What is it? So let me explain you in detail. For example, imagine you have built a workflow which supposed to download a report from a website. Imagine your workflow supposed to download a report from a website and upload it. So there are two different actions. One, you are downloading the report, and the second one, you are uploading the report. So there are two different XAML files. In one XAML file, you are downloading the report. In the other XAML file, you are uploading it to the website, to a different section. Somewhere in the different tab, you are uploading it. Now, how does mocking help? What is it mocking about? What if mock the download workflow? What if I'm going to mock it? Instead of me really trying to download the files, what if I am going to mock the download workflow? So there are two workflows. So one of the workflow, I want to mock it. So how will I really mock it? I have to download the files from the website. Okay. So what is this? Look at it. Wherein I won't really download the file. I'm not really going to download the file from the website. Rather, use a pre-downloaded files. So what I have done, I have already downloaded the files from the website. And when I have to test repeatedly, I don't have to every time download these files and then test this upload button. So here the main purpose is to test whether the upload function in the website is working or not. So this is my main goal. If I am going to upload a file, is it really uploading or not? Now what I'm doing here, I'm going to mock the download workflow, wherein I won't really download the file, this workflow which actually downloads the file from the website. Here I am not going to download the file. Rather, use a pre-downloaded files somewhere on my computer which is already there and upload the file and test if the upload is working successfully or not. So my main aim is to test the upload button is working or not. So I have already got some download files. I don't have to spend time in downloading all the reports from the website and then one by one uploading it and testing it. Rather, I would use the downloaded file or files and then test the upload button. So here I can save some time, right? So that is called mocking. So mocking means you are trying to mimic some part of your entire workflow where you can save some time. So what is the main goal of mocking? Your main aim was to test if the upload is working fine on this software or not. This helps you speeding up your testing. So while you are testing, you don't have to download the files 10 times, 20 times. You have certain files you are trying to upload and testing it. You don't spend time in waiting for the download to complete one by one. So you are speeding up your testing and replacing dependencies. Let's say during download today while you are testing, the website is failing. It is not really downloading. So now you will be completely waiting for the test of the upload button until it is back. So here I am replacing that dependency. I'm no more waiting for the website to work or respond or whatever it is, right? I'm not waiting. I have already some download files which I will provide and do the testing. So that is called mock testing. Now it becomes really interesting when you see that on UiPath Studio. So why delay? Let's move on to UiPath Studio and let's see a demo of mock testing. All right. So we were talking about two different things. One is downloading the report. The other one is uploading the report. To understand this, I have logged into acmetest.uipath.com to the system one. Here in this, if I go to the reports, I have an option called download monthly report. If I click on this, it is asking me to download the report. You have to provide vendor tax ID, month and year. Now I have got few vendor tax IDs which I am going to pass it in the description of the video. Let me take any one of the vendor ID. And if I enter the vendor ID and select some month, for example, January 2023, and hit on download, what happens? It downloads a report. You can see it has downloaded. Now, if I click on this, it opens a sample file. It has got some test data. Some sample data it has got in the report. So this is the report. Now, what I have to do, I have to again go back to the system home page and then go to reports and click on upload yearly report. And here I would be providing the same vendor ID and I would be selecting the year, let's say 2023, and select report file and select that particular file that I have downloaded and hit on open. Now what happens? The file has been attached and all I have to do hit on upload report. Now if the upload is working or not, how do we get it? Only when we see this pop up and it says report was uploaded, confirmation ID so and so. So this message confirms that this kind of a file has been successfully uploaded. This is what I would like to test. Okay, this is what finally I would like to test whether the upload is working fine or not. So this is the workflow what we have to design. Let me go back to UiPath Studio. In the studio, the very first workflow is download report XAML. So you can see the very first one is download report XAML. Now what you do, you simply create a XAML. So here I have already created where I'm using that Acme site and then going and typing the vendor tax ID. Hope you remember that. If I go to home page, reports, download monthly report. So here vendor tax ID, month and year and hit on download report. So the same workflow I have designed it here. I'm typing the vendor tax ID, entering the month and then entering a year. So these are the different arguments that I have created. So once it has downloaded the file, then what I am doing once it hits on download, then I'm using a small assign activity where I am getting wherever you are downloading. By default, download to downloads folder in case you have not changed it in your browser. So now let's say it is getting downloaded to my downloads folder or any specific folder you can provide, any specific path of your choice. So I'm getting all the files that is being downloaded. And then here I have used a variable called argument called downloaded file path. And in this one I have written a simple link query. Let me show it on the screen. So here I am going through file in files. So what is the file in files means? Remember the files variable is holding all the files in this folder. So here what I have done, this is the query I have written, pretty simple one. From file in files, where path.get file name file, that means it will take one file, contains the vendor tax ID. So when you download that particular file, this is the vendor ID. Let's say you have entered RO125678. So these are different vendor IDs. So whatever for vendor you have downloaded, that file contains the name of the vendor, the tax ID of the vendor. So this is the using this technique. What I have done, I'm simply saying if it contains any file which contains the vendor tax ID, then what you do, it might be possible you might have downloaded it 2 to 3 times. You might be having, for example, if you look at my downloads folder, some of the files are repeated. For example, if you see vendor DE763212 has one 2 times. I have downloaded the same file 2 times somewhere. So what this logic will do, it will order by file info file. So whatever that file is, right, it will order them dot last write time in descending. That means the last updated time, modified time. So the latest file you will get it order by, it will order them. After that you are selecting the file to array dot first. That means the very first, the latest one you are going to find. So this is the simple code. So finally what would happen through this code, the downloaded file path will get that path variable. Okay, so where is that located? That file is located at so and so. So path means how it will appear. If you right click on any file, click on copy as path, and if you type it on your notepad, this is the path. So the output of that would give you this kind of a path of the file. Okay, so now what I'm doing, this particular path will be used in the upload report. So in the upload report, if you remember, we went to home, we went to reports, and then went to upload yearly report. So in this, what are the inputs required? Vendor tax ID is required. And then you need the year, and then you need to select report file. So here you will be typing that exact path. So whatever that path is, right, you will be typing it without double quotes. And then once you have typed it, you have to upload it. So this is the entire path, entire workflow. So the same thing I have done. I'm entering the vendor tax ID and then year. And here I'm saying click on the select report file, and the next one typing that path. I'm typing that path. And then after typing the path, I'm going to click on open in that Windows Explorer, and then finally uploading the report. So after uploading the report, I am trying to get a text, that output message. Now let's say this output doesn't appear, then our test case will fail. So these are the two different workflows. Now what I have done, look at it. I'll go to the projects panel. So there is a main workflow wherein I'm invoking these two XAMLs. The very first XAML is download report XAML, which you already saw. And the second one is upload report, which you saw. So both the things I'm invoking. So this is my main workflow. Now let's see what is a mock testing and how does it really help. Okay. So this one, how do you create a test case? Simply right click, create a test case. And how do you create a mock test case? If you click on create test case, there is an option here called mock workflow. So simply hit on mock workflow and then hit on create. Okay. Now after you hit on, for example, I have enabled mock, and if you hit on next, then it asks for the test data. So there is a test data file I am supplying. I'll show you file. So that is there in documents, and I have used this Acme vendor text. So what this file contains? This file contains the vendor tax IDs. It contains the months for which that file you want to download and the year. So this entire data, I'm going to pass it in the description of the video so that you can design it. Okay, so year and month and vendor tax IDs. I'll pass this. Now let us understand what we have to do. So here I'll go, and here I will be selecting the mock test data, hit on next, and I'll select the file and pass it. Now before we understand how do you create a mock test, let me first show you a demonstration of the difference between a test case and a mock test case. That is important. Workflow designing, I think anybody can do this. Now let's go to the projects panel, and I have created a test case and also have created a mock test case. So let me open the test case first. Okay. Now in the test case, this is a data driven test case I have created. Now here I am checking report was uploaded, the final message is coming or not, if it contains the message containing this or not. So this is how it will verify. So this is a normal test case, data driven test case. So I'm going to run this first. Okay. So before I run, let me close this and start run file with data variation. Let me select only some 3 files. Okay, not more than that. I have got some 10 files, 10 vendor tax IDs. I'll simply hit on run. Now it has opened. Look at it. This is the entire process it will do. It will download and also it will upload. Now it went here, entered the vendor tax ID, entered the month and hit on download report. So what happened now? The file got downloaded. Okay. Next, it entered the next vendor ID. The same vendor ID and uploading the latest file. So you can see 3. The one which we have downloaded, the same thing it is trying to upload. Then the message has come, successfully uploaded. Now it is going to type the second vendor ID. Okay, selected the month and year and hit on download. Now look at the download. So what is the file? Ending with 2123 bracket 2. Now it is entering the same vendor ID and it will select that latest file 2.csv. You can see that, and then it is going to hit on upload. Okay, now this message has come. Okay, it has successfully uploaded. Now the third one, the last one. So this is the normal test, data driven test case. Okay, download report, and it has downloaded the file. In the same file it will upload. Now look at it. You are spending a lot of time downloading and then uploading, downloading, then uploading. So it took some time. So what we will do, we'll compare that entire time. Okay. So now the report is uploaded successfully. So what happened? Now for 3 different vendor tax IDs, this process is complete. Now let's see how much time this process took. For example, if you see, the very first verification is complete, which took about 34 seconds. How much? Let's compare. How much time saving it is really doing? Okay. Time savings. So first one is 34 seconds. And the second one is again 34 seconds. So plus 34. And then the next one is plus 33. So total time, how much it took? So you have 34 plus 34 plus 33. So total time is 101. Okay, so 101 seconds it took for completing 3 different tests. Okay, so now let's look at with mock testing what happens. I'll show you how to create a mock testing, don't worry. Now just look at the difference. I will do a mock testing. Okay, so let me minimize this. So creating a mock testing is simple. Go to the projects for which you want to create the mock testing, right click on it, create a test case. Only thing you have to do is the same process how you do a test data driven. Same thing you do, simply enable mock testing, and here new mock, a new mock will be created. So leave it as it is, hit on next, select the file, whatever the file, and create it. So here I have already created a mock test case. Okay, so mock test case 1. Let me open it. Let us see what is this mock test is all about. Now the mock test is exactly look like the test case. Okay, given, when section and then section you have. Now what is the difference, Rakesh? What is the difference? It is exactly looking the same. Only thing is the name has something called mock. That's it. Otherwise rest is looking exactly the same. Now if I hit on open workflow, even this workflow would appear initially when you do it, it will appear exactly the same. So let me remove this. Remove mock activity. So exactly it will appear like this. So what is the option it gives you? Okay, you have got 2 different workflows. Now which workflow would you like to mock? So this workflow I would like to mock, download workflow. So for that what you do, right click on the workflow and then there is an option called surround with mock. So when you do this, you are skipping this workflow. What you are doing, you are skipping it. I don't want to really download it. Why? Because I already have files. I don't have to really download it. So what I will do, so this part is read only, it has become a read only. That means while you execute, if I save this, if I execute, it will not go through this activities or this workflow at all. It will not go. So what it will execute, this right side one. Now in the right side one, I would simply put a right line activity just to say mocking the download. So here I'm simply putting a right line so that it, it writes as a log mocking the download workflow. Now the question comes, okay, Rakesh, how will you really mock it? So how do I really mock it? Now look at it, what I have done for this XAML, I have made slight changes. What I have done here, I have provided a small argument, which is downloaded file path. And here the downloaded file path will not come from the previous XAML. What I have done, I have created another Excel file like the previous one. And here in this Excel file, so that this is the previous Excel file and this is the other. For the mock testing, I have created a separate Excel file. Now in this Excel file, what I am doing, this I'll be giving us data driven, how you give a file, right? During the test case creation, you provide a file, your data driven file. So I'm providing this file. Now in this file, what I have kept the downloaded file path, and I have provided all the path of for each vendor where exactly it is located. So if you see 212-1.csv, if I go to my downloads folder and try to search for this particular path, hit enter, you will see the file will open. See, that file is present in the downloads folder. So I've given all the file paths here and saved it. Now during creating this mock test, I have given this particular path, the data driven Excel file. So what would happen? The downloaded file becomes an in argument which would come from that Excel, from the data driven Excel. Okay. So now here in the import arguments, that Excel column downloaded file path, right? Just now you saw download file path. This path I am providing as an input to the workflow. Instead of me getting the input from the downloaded report, in the test case we were getting the input from the downloaded report. Okay, so we were getting, if I open this workflow from the normal test case. Okay, so here we were getting the input download file path from, let me expand. So this download file path value was coming from the previous workflow. So this workflow is getting the output from this. So if I open this, you see download file path is a out argument providing it to download file path, and that variable I'm using as an input here. Now in this case of a mock, what I am doing, I am getting directly from the Excel file, and that file from the data driven Excel file, and I'm passing it. So that is the only difference. So what I am doing here, I am avoiding the need of this workflow at all, so that I can save some time. Okay, so this is the workflow which is getting the data directly from the Excel file. Now let us run this mock test. Okay, so I'll remove this. You saw that. Okay, I've saved it. Let me close it. So that mock test is here. Okay, if you open the workflow, you will see this is mocking the download workflow. So this workflow will not work at all. Only this side will work. Now let me save this and run the mock test case now. I'm running the mock test case. So last time, how much time it took? It took 101 seconds. Now look at, if I run the mock test case, how much time does it take? Let's hit on run file with data variations, and you can see this is the file I was talking about, which contains let me slightly expand it. So it contains the download file path. Okay, so it contains all the data. Now let me select 1, 2, the first 3 only I will select the same vendor tax IDs. Hit on run. Now look at it, how it is going to work. Let's have a, how much time does it take? Let's see that. Okay, now the very first thing what it does, it has directly gone to upload. You see, it did not go to download page at all. If you look at the URL, now it is directly giving that file, open, and then it is going to hit on upload. Done. Okay, and it got the message box. Now let's look at the second. So now it is not going to download because we have skipped it, right? It is not going to downloads page at all. It is directly getting the files from the local downloads folder. Then it is going to upload. So definitely you are saving time, right? So this is the main purpose of mock testing. So you save your testing time. You remove the dependency on a system. Let's say the download page is not functioning or it is very slow. So you are avoiding a dependency on a system, right? Or a database from where that files are coming from. Okay, so the last one, it is hitting on upload and the message has come. Now it will be very interesting when you see the output. Now look at the output. Now the very first one, it took about 24 seconds. So let's write it again. So it took 24 seconds plus, and then the second one took about 21 seconds. So it might vary on every run, but again we can see on a total when we do a sum, you will see there's a great reduction. So this one took 21 seconds. So total how much? The first one is 24 plus 21 plus 21. So is equals to 66 seconds. 66 seconds. So only with the three different data-driven test cases that we have run on the three different test data of the vendor tax IDs, it has saved almost how much? So 101 minus 66. If I do, then how much I'm getting? Almost like 35 seconds I have saved. So you can see a great difference. Now, if you imagine there are 100 test data like that, you could save a lot of time. So that is the benefit of mock testing. Okay, so you got it. Now there are a couple of other things I would like to show you. So when you create a mock test, I showed you the process. So how do you create a mock test? Right click on the file, create a test case, and only thing you have to do is enable this. The rest of the process remains as it is. Now once you create it, it creates a folder here called mock. And inside that folder, that main, whatever your name of your workflow is, it will put underscore mock.xaml. It will write as underscore mock.xaml. And it will have its own config file. Now, what is the difference in the mock test case? If you open the workflow, once you surround an activity, so there are two ways. You can surround or you can remove it. For example, I have surrounded this workflow with mock. Now, let's say I would like to remove, right click and remove. Now this options of surrounding and removing, for example, if I right click, I get the option surround with mock. Now these options are not available with normal test case. For example, this is a normal test case. If I right click on this, let me open the workflow. Now let me right click on this. And here if you see surround with mock, you don't have it. Surround with try catch, you don't have it. So only when you create with that checkbox enabled, you get this option to mock any activity you like. Getting it? So this is the difference. So what is the main thing that you have learned? It is a time saving practice. Instead of testing from end to end, you can skip some of the areas which you feel you can provide the input for that workflow, for the next workflow. So you can skip those and you can save some time. That is the main goal. Mocking. You are just mocking whatever that output of that workflow. It's supposed to give the file path. So I'm already having the files and I'm simply providing the file path. So I'm trying to mock the purpose of a workflow by different means. So that is called mocking. Okay, so thank you guys. Hope this video would have given you a great idea about a mock testing, what it looks like. If possible, I'm going to try to create this workflow on your own. I'm going to provide you this tax IDs which would help you to design this workflow and do it once in your UiPath Studio and test it. So thank you guys for watching. Do not forget to give it a like to this video and do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Let's meet once again in our next content. Till then, take care.